Today we're going to be going over the formative quiz 5.6 and 5.7. So I'll be going over the answers and the solutions of how to get it. Okay, here's our first problem. So since we are adding, the only thing that we need to do, the first step, is to get rid of the parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the parentheses. So I have negative x plus 10 plus a negative 3x plus 6. The second step is I need to combine like terms. So I'm going to underline my like terms. So I have x, and negative 3x. So I'm going to put them next to each other. So negative x minus 3x. And then my constants are my other like terms. So I have a positive 10 and a positive 6. So I have a plus 10 and a plus 6. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms. So I have negative x minus 3x, that would be negative 4x. And then you have 10 plus 6, so then I have 16. So that is my final answer, is negative 4x plus 16. Let's go on to the next problem. Here's our next problem. So it is addition again. So the first thing I'll do is go ahead and take away the parentheses. So I have negative 6x plus 5 plus 4x minus 7. Now the next thing I need to do is combine like terms. So I'm going to first move my like terms next to each other. So I have negative 6x and a 4x. So I have negative 6x plus 4x. Then I have my constants, which are positive 5, so plus 5, and a minus 7 or a negative 7, however you want to think of it. Now I'm going to combine my terms now that they're next to each other. So I have negative 6x plus 4x. That's negative 2x. Then I have 5 minus 7, or positive 5 plus 7 negative. So that would be minus 2 or a negative 2. And that's my final answer. Here's our next one. This is one that is a little bit more difficult. So the first thing that I'm going to do is it has a negative 1 out in front. So that means I have to take the opposite. It's like subtracting here, right? I have to take the opposite of the x and the 1. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite everything the same. So this would be negative x. And then instead of plus 1, it's going to be minus 1. All right, now it's addition. So now I can go ahead and get rid of the parentheses. So I have negative 5x plus 4 minus x minus 1. All right. Next step is I'm going to combine like terms. So I see that I have a negative 5x and a negative x. So I'm going to put them first next to each other, and then I can combine. And then I have a positive 4 and a minus 1, so plus 4 minus 1. Let's go ahead and combine my variables, or my x's, first. So I have negative 5x minus x, so that's negative 6x. And then I have a 4 minus 1, and that would just be plus 3. And that would be my final answer, is negative 6x plus 3. So here's my next question. So this has distribution, so we need to distribute. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this first one. So 3 times 4x would be 12x. And then I'm going to distribute the second term, and it'd be 3 times a negative 5, so that'd be negative 15. And then that plus is going to stay the same. And I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 4 times the 2x, so that'd be 8x. And then 4 times the 6 would be plus 24. All right, so now I'm going to combine like terms. So I'm going to look for my variables. So I have a 12x and an 8x. So I'm going to put them next to each other first. And then I'm going to combine my negative 15 and my positive 24. let's do our x's first. So I have 12x plus 8x, and that would be 20x. And then I have a negative 15 plus 24. Since there's more positives than negatives, I just have to subtract. So 24 minus 15 would be 9. So it's going to be a positive 9. And that would be my final answer is 20x plus 9. Here's our next problem. Now we are subtracting. So when we subtract, we can't just get rid of the parentheses because we're subtracting this whole quantity here. So you can think of it subtracting the 8x and then subtracting the negative 1, or you can think of it as taking the opposite of 8x and the opposite of minus 1. However you want to think of it, okay? So I'm going to rewrite everything the same first, except for the second term, I'm going to add the opposite, right? So I'm adding, and then the opposite would be negative. So this changes, sorry, negative 8x, and then this minus 1 becomes a plus 1. All right, so those are the things that changed. Basically, you had to take the this changed here, and then you had to take the opposite. We'll actually do this to that one and that to that one. All right, so now that it's adding, now we just have to get rid of the parentheses. So I have negative 8x plus 1 plus a negative 8x plus 1. Combine like terms, so I have a negative 8x and a negative 8x. So I'm going to put them next to each other first, and then I have a plus 1 and a plus 1. So negative 8x and a negative 8x is a negative 16x. And then the plus 1 and the plus 1, well, that's plus 2. And that's my final answer is negative 16x plus 2. This is another subtraction problem. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add the opposite. So I'm going to keep this first quantity the same, and then I'm going to add, and then the opposite. So it would be negative x, and then instead of minus 7, it would be plus 7. Change that so it's purple. All right, so now I can get rid of my parentheses. So I have negative 2x minus 1 plus a negative x plus 7. Combine my like terms, so I have negative 2x, negative x. I'm just going to put them right next to each other first. And then I have a negative 1 or minus 1 and a plus 7. Combine my variables, negative 3x, and then a negative 1 plus a 7, that's a positive 6. Go ahead and, so if you want to think of it as 7 minus 1, that's okay too. But you have more positives than negatives, so if you have more positives than negatives, your answer will be positive. In this case, it would be positive 6. All right, here's our last problem. So it is a subtraction, so I need to add the opposite. So I have negative 6x minus 11. So I'm going to change it to addition. And then I have, instead of a minus 2, I'm going to make it a plus 2x. I'll go ahead and put a plus there. You don't have to do that, but I'm just showing you what I changed. It's 2x, and then instead of a minus 4, it would be a plus 4. Okay, so those are the three things that I changed. Now I'm going to rewrite it without the parentheses, so negative 6x minus 11. And I'm just going to put plus 2x plus 4. I don't need to put both addition signs, right? Now I'm going to put my terms together next to each other. So negative 6x plus 2x. And then I'm going to put my constants. Negative 11 plus 4. So a negative 6x minus, plus a 2x would be a negative 4x. And then I have a negative 11 plus 4. So that would be, there's more negatives than positives. So that would be minus 7. And that's your final answer, is negative 4x minus 7. So So that's the end of the quiz today. You need to check your work and see what you missed and why you missed it. All right, have a great day.